It's your girl Funmi-Layo. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe if you're not already. Make sure to like this video. It helps me out a lot. But today I'm going to be talking to you guys kind of about my freshman college fall experience grade-wise. So my intentions with this video is basically to help anybody who's struggling right now, who feels like they're about to fail out of school, this, that, and the third. But yeah, I'm just gonna share my story. So when I came out of high school, I graduated valedictorian. Like all my life, I knew I wanted to go to a good school, and I had wanted to go to Harvard, got rejected. It is what it is, but I still got into a pretty good school. So the reputation that the school had was for being super hard. So I knew that when I was coming out of high school that I might struggle a little bit, because school always just kind of came easy to me. I have like a pretty all right memory, and then honestly, as long as I paid attention in class and I like reviewed it right before we would take an exam, I would do all right. But I do remember like struggling a little bit when I was taking college classes my senior year. But I think that took them junior year, but that's neither here nor there. But I just knew, I was like, okay, I'm gonna struggle a little bit when I go to college. So I got to college. I was so excited, meeting so many new people. I was basically doing the same thing I was doing in high school in terms of like being social and trying to join as many clubs as possible. And I could even be more social because I was really like connecting with people, really meeting people who are like me, people of my heritage, like people that look like me. Like it's just, I don't know, it was dope. But the first exams came, and like, yeah, I did not do well. I was failing, and I was like, oh, okay, this is cool, because in those first couple days, or like your first exams and stuff like that, everybody's failing, so it's like, oh, okay, I'm not the only one, it's all good or whatever. And yeah, so I just would like just thinking, I kind of wrote it off as like, oh, I'm going to do well, you know what I mean? This is just how it's gonna start off. So then after that, I continued on, but I wasn't doing well. And so I was starting to get worried. And the thing that we got to keep in mind is that I was still operating as I was in high school in terms of like how many clubs and everything I was joining. So my time was stretched so thin that I wasn't really studying. But I was going to class though. But even when I was in class, I wasn't really mentally present. I was just there. You know what I mean? I wasn't really understanding, because I feel like certain classes, if you miss those first couple days, if you weren't paying attention those first couple days, you kind of fall off. Unless you're able to study up to that certain point, then you can understand the rest of the material they're teaching you in class. However, if you were never paying attention in the beginning and your study habits are off, you're just gonna be in class just to be in class. It's pointless, you know what I mean? Unless it's just I would go for the clicker questions, you know what I mean? And yeah, like not even for the clicker questions, because I would go for the clicker questions, but you know how some people like, you give it to somebody, they'll do the clicker questions or whatever. But I wanted to be there. I wanted to be there and be present in class, whatever. But so I was going to class that freshman fall probably more than the rest of, I was about to say the rest of my college career. Did I go to class the most freshman fall? I don't know. But like I said, I was attending pretty all right. My attendance was pretty decent. But anyways, I was still struggling. And then like I would go to my advisor, and she was like, I don't know, like the energy in that room was so toxic. I hated going to talk to her. I hated it. Like my first advisor freshman fall, I didn't like the energy in the room. She tried to help me at first, but it's like when it was going downhill, like I was still struggling like heavy. You know what I mean? I just felt like her energy was off, and I will always leave broken and sad. And just in general, like after like I was continuing to struggle during the fall semester, it got to the point where it was like, OMG, if something don't shake, I'm not gonna be able to come back, because if you don't get good enough grades, if you don't pass well enough, you can't continue to the next semester. You have to like, basically you don't really flunk out, but it's like a leave of absence. Like you gotta sit out, And so I was so concerned, because I'm coming from high school, valedictorian, coming from my town, moving to a whole nother city or whatever, and just like moving from like, what do you call it, my town or my city, whatever, just moving to this whole other big city and just like doing great things per se. And then I'm gonna come back home to say I failed. Like I was so concerned. I was broken. I would be crying. I would just be crying. I'd be like, God, help me. I told my mom, I remember I was calling my cousin. I just cried and just letting them know, like, yo, I'm not doing well. I'm struggling. And so, you know, I would go to the help rooms and try to get help for the homework, because I wasn't understanding. I had fallen so far behind, like, in the semester, that I just didn't get it. Like, I just need somebody to literally just sit down and explain every single thing to me. This was for my, I think I was taking my Calc 2 class, because I just didn't understand, man. And I would speak to the professor, and he recognized me. I told him I was struggling, and he recognized me because I would be at class, and he was like, yeah, you sit in the front. I remember you. Like, you sit over there. So that was good. That's like one of the tips. And stay tuned and make sure to subscribe, because the video after this, I believe I'm going to upload it after this, is going to be like what ended up, like, tips that can help save you, whatever. But anyways, yeah, so I was just struggling, trying to go through, trying to push on. Then I remember one time I was volunteering, right? I'm over here volunteering. I'm filling my classes, but I'm volunteering. I don't know, that's neither here nor there. But like I said, my priorities were not intact, and I was confused. I felt like I had to be active, and I had to be doing a bunch of things and being around people a lot in order to, I don't know, but like, also it was just a mess. My priorities were out of whack. And I don't know, in my mind, I thought I was doing the wrong thing, but eventually I fell off of those stuff, like those activities and stuff like that, and like took breaks so I could focus. But yeah, I was at the volunteering thing. I checked my grades, and you know how you calculate what grades you need in order to pass your class? Like, you calculate, okay, so for the syllabus, it'll be like 30% of your grade is this exam, 30% is homework, 20% is da-da-da. So I had calculated for a certain class what the exam that I had taken, what I would need in order to like have some leeway and, you know, make it easier for me to pass the class. And I failed it. I failed it, or I did. Yeah, no, most likely I failed it. And so I'm smiling to tell you guys this, but you don't understand. I was so sad. Like, I had a panic attack. I just broke out into a panic attack. So I had to put my head between my knees, and I just try to breathe. I was just like, breathe in, breathe out. But it's like, it was so bad. Like, I just couldn't breathe. It was just so bad. And I would have those periodically because my anxiety was so high. I would just be like, and people noticed too that my energy was off, but I didn't want to brag, like, I didn't want to expose myself, kind of, because it's like, I would mention, like, you know, we all joke, yeah, we're struggling, this class, struggling, that class, but I'm like, I'm really failing, you know what I mean? So like, I'm not one of those that would, you know, there are people who up front and be like, oh yeah, I'm not doing so well, but they're not doing so well, would be like, you know, but mine was, I was really doing bad. And so I just kind of would like, you know, I didn't let too many people know, but folks would notice. Like, I remember my friends were noticing, like, that my energy was shifting, but I wasn't telling nobody what's going on, you know? And so, yeah. And the thing about it is, like, you know how people always be like, oh yeah, some people freshman year, they party too hard and then they can't come back. Sometimes it's not even from partying, because I only would party. I didn't even party that much, really. I would party, don't get me wrong. I would party. I had my whole college experience, I had a good time. But that freshman fall, like, at most, I would party 2 days. At most, Friday and Saturday. At most. You know what I mean? That freshman fall. I wasn't one of those that was partying every day, da-da-da. And then after a while, when I was getting real sad, like when I was just like failing up my classes and stuff like that, I wouldn't really want to party at all, honestly, because I was like, what am I doing? Because I didn't drink. So I'm in my sober-minded state, having fun at a party when I know my grades are not good. Like, huh? Would they do that? Like, it didn't make sense. But then again, I'm volunteering and doing this work and, like, you know what I mean? And this group and that extracurricular, knowing the same thing. So I don't know. But yeah, that's that on that. But yeah, I remember I received an email, and the email was inviting me for a meeting about my grades. And I remember seeing the people that would be there, or seeing directly who it was from. I think the position of that person was so high that I was like, oh man, this can't be good. This cannot be good. And so I just broke down crying. I remember I had called my friend, and because he had just like left. I think we were coming from the library or whatever. And then just to come back down, and I was like, being like, look what's happening to me. I think I'm about to fail out of school. I'm so scared. I'm so worried. This, that, and the third. And yeah, so we just, you're just trying to calm me down, trying to help, be like, well, let's just see. You don't know yet. See what happens at the meeting. So I get to the meeting, and the meeting, they're like, bro, we think you're about to fail out. Like, now we think you're about to fail out. Like, it would be a miracle if you were to pass this semester. And I was just like, whew. Like, I just want to fall down on the floor. Like, it was just so bad. Like, you don't understand, because you have to understand, like, being used to being at the top to absolutely being at your lowest. And it just, like, the whole experience just made me question my identity, because I felt like I was always defined as the smart girl, or like the girl who always performed well at school. You know, that's what I was known for. Like, I do well at school. You know, people have high hopes and high like wishes and ideas of what I'll become, this, that, and the third. And I'm like, and I'm over here like listening to them tell me this, and just being like, wow, now it's not even looking like I'm gonna pass my classes, not even get an A pass. And so it was just so bad. And they were like, yeah, like, we're struggling to see what class you actually do well in. You know what I mean? Like, do okay, even passing. And so I was like, yeah, you know, I was just trying to like hold up to what little courage I had. I didn't really have any courage. I was just speaking in faith. I was like, you know what? I think I can do it though. I do think I can do it. I think I can pull through. But they're like, if your performance so far has been this, why all of a sudden would you just like start making super high grades, you know what I mean, to finish out the semester in order to pass? You know what I mean? It was just leading to like, they're like, if you're starting off this week and it's basically like the middle, and we're at I don't know what time it was then, whether it was the middle or towards the end, they were like, we don't see you being able to just like make the scores that you would need in order to pass this. And so they were trying to tell me, like, even if you were by some weird miracle able to make it pass, you shouldn't even want to come back yet. You need to take a break, because you don't want to just be skating past. You want to like make good scores while you're here or whatever. And so I was like, yeah, I was just kind of like numb, like, oh my gosh, like I was just so nervous. And then after that meeting with all those high people, whatever, I want to say, how many were there in the room? Like 2 or 3, I don't know. But it was just so scary, so unbelievably scary. And so this other like counselor lady that I think she was there at the meeting too. She was there at the meeting too or whatever. I don't know if her position was called counselor, but she was just letting me know, like advising that I get some sort of, no, I think she was like over the tutoring or whatever. She was like advising that I get some sort of counseling, like just to help me through the process, or like to help me through like being able to tell my mom and stuff, like what was going on, this, that, and the third, or being able to take a semester off and like just taking this in mentally. And I was just remember just being like, bruh, I was just so hurt and just so sad. I was so sad. I was like, in Jesus' name, I wasn't broken, but I was at my lowest. I've been low before, but that was definitely one of my lowest, because that's just like a whole period of time of just feeling like, oh my gosh, it was just one of my lowest moments ever in my life. And so I remember like, and even because I was still communicating with my freshman advisor, and she would just be like, she would just be so, she was just so, I don't know if she was so mean or so rude. Like she would be saying stuff that just would make me just feel down. Like, I can't remember what she would say specifically. I really want to pinpoint it for you guys, but I just know that I did not like her. She was not a good advisor to me at all. I don't think so. I don't think she was. And I hated coming to her. You should want to come to see your advisor, you know, I feel. But yeah, and so I was just like trying to pull through, you know, going to all the help rooms, like just praying, just really being strong in my faith, just being like, God, like, I don't know what to do. Like I would be studying and like, you know, kicking it sometimes with friends, and just kind of looking from the outside in and just being like, wow, this is a great moment, but who knows if I even see them next semester. Like, this could be it for real. Like, just on that kind of tip. So very, very sad, very kind of like morbid in a way or whatever. But yeah, so lo and behold, like when it was time to go home for Christmas break, I was so sad. I didn't even want to go home. I wasn't really going home, but I'm gonna go meet family or whatever. I really didn't want to go because I was just sad. When I am like really down, I don't really want to be around folks like that. Like, I just kind of want to stay to myself and just like be in my mood. And plus, Christmas is supposed to be one of them happy holidays, and I don't feel happy and I don't feel like faking it. So that was just my mood. And so, cause I'm like, literally my life is falling down in front of my face. Like what do I really have to be happy about right now? But lo and behold, you know, the grades came in and I ended up being able to passing well enough to be able to make it to the next semester. Like, bruh, I was shocked. I was shocked and still kind of numb. Even after the fact, like, you'd expect me to be just so happy. Like, I was so thankful to God, but I was still numb. Like, because it was so emotionally draining and hurtful that it was like, but obviously I'm hurt myself because I'm the one getting the grades and everything like that. But it was just like the whole identity crisis thing. And, you know, with all the panic attacks I was having and all the, what do you call it? Panic attacks or anxiety attacks, whatever that I was having. It was just a lot. Like, it was just in recovery. So I was just feeling numb and just kind of like, I've been through a lot, you know what I mean? And I just want to tell you guys, part of the reason that was able to happen is not by anything that I did, but by God, right? God will make a way for you. And another thing is that I always had faith that it would happen. I did. There were moments where I was like, I really don't know how I'm going to get through this. But I always pushed on, like, God can still do something for me. Because when you give up on yourself, right? When you give up on yourself, that's when the game is over. It's not over until you quit. So even if you feel like you're failing, it's not really over. Like, God, no matter what circumstances are in front of you, God will make a way where there seems to be no way. And I know this because he did it for me. You know what I mean? And so the fact that I was able to make it to that next semester was a miracle. And even the fact that I was able to, like, go through my college years and graduate on time at that same school, again, a miracle. You know what I mean? So anything is possible. Don't give up on yourself. Don't give up. Even if it looks like you're about to fail, you're not going to fail. You're not going to fail unless you think you're going to fail. Stop it. Stop it right now. Believe that it can happen. Have that faith. I know that it seems impossible, but God will do the impossible. Trust me, I only tell you this because he did it for me. So my purpose in making this video is for whoever is going through it right now. I know this is what is this, August, September? This September. So y'all just kind of now starting school or whatever like that. If you stumble upon this video later on, you know what I mean? Just know it's possible. If you want to reach out to me, I'm at funmila.ib on Instagram. Reach out to me. Get all the support that you can because it's possible. It can happen. I'll give you tips and tricks and all of that. And so the following video another video that I'm about to upload is like what I believe got me through that. Other than God, how I was able to pull through, you know what I mean? And make it to that next semester. But let me tell you, keep your head on straight. Keep your head on straight and let this be a lesson to everybody. Don't define yourself by external things, because I believe that's really one of the things that really shook me because I didn't know who I was when I wasn't doing good in school because I guess that's how I defined myself. You know what I mean? And so I feel like my experience in college really shook me to know that I cannot define myself by any of my achievements or anything externally that I do. It's by who I am, you know, as a person without all that, you know? And so I think that's so important because when you lose all these things, you start to wonder, who am I, you know? So I'm glad that happened because it taught me not to do that. So I hope to never, define myself by anything external in the future. But yeah, let me know down below if you have any questions, concerns. Let me know any part of the video that resonated with you and definitely will respond. I will support you in any way that I can if you're going through anything, but just know you're not the first, probably will not be the last, but God will get you through it. All right. Thanks for watching. Bye.